Here we go. So we are going to practice just a couple examples from level 8 and 9, both of which are converting a fraction to a decimal. Level 8 is just a regular fraction. Level 9 is mixed numbers. So we will do 3 of each. Starting with 3/10, we're going to go to decimal form. So in order to do that, we need to start with the decimal point. If we don't start with the decimal point, it's not a decimal. It's just going to be a number, like a whole number, and then it will not be correct. So we're going to start with our decimal point, and we're going to just quickly review. If I put a digit in this spot, this place value spot, that is the tenths place. So if I put a 2, for instance, in this spot, it would be 2/10. What I'm trying to show is 3/10. So I need to put a digit here in the tenths place to show an equivalent of 3/10 from a fraction. So I'm going to use my numerator, which was 3, in the tenths place value for decimals, and that gives me 3/10. Not too crazy. Moving on to another one, 8/10. I'm going to use the same pattern. I'm going to take my numerator, which is 8, and I'm going to use my denominator to tell me which place value spot to put that 8 in. The denominator is a 10, so I need to put it in the tenths spot, which is the first spot after my decimal. So I'm going to draw my decimal, or if you're on the computer, it'll be the period key, which is on the right side by the shift. And then I'm going to use the 8 digit in the tenths place, 8/10. The next example and the last example for just regular fractions is 6/10. Same thing, I'm going to start with the decimal. My numerator is a 6, and my denominator tells me I need to put that 6 in the tenths place. So the 6 goes right there. On all of these, if I wanted to, I could put a 0 on the right side. That is fine. I prefer to leave it off, but both would be correct. I just think this is simple and easy, and I don't get confused because my brain kind of sees 60, but it's 6/10. So I leave it off, but you get to decide what you like to do. Okay, let's jump to mixed numbers. This mixed number, I know because I have a whole number, which is 3, and a fraction, which is 4/10. So I'm going to start with the decimal. And here's what I need to review. Whole numbers here is 3. Whole numbers go on this side of the decimal point, the left side. The fraction pieces go on this side of the decimal, the right side, because whole numbers on the right mean you have a whole. The diagrams that you saw, like the models in a couple days ago, they were completely filled in. So completely filled in or whole numbers go over here. And then the fraction piece means it's not a whole number. It's not yet complete. So that's why it's on the other side. The decimal is like the wall between them, or it breaks it up, which I think is really easy to read or tell them apart. So I really like that. So I'm going to put the 3 or the whole number on the left side, and then I do the same thing that I just did. Use the numerator, which is the digit 4, and I need to use the denominator in the tenths place value spot. So then the 4 would go right here. When I read this, I'm going to say the whole number first, which is 3. When I get to the decimal, I'm going to say and then the 4, I'm going to say the digit and then the place value that it's in. So this would say 3 and 4/10, because I have to say that place value last. 3 and 4/10. And if you notice, when I read the decimal, it sounds the exact same as the mixed number because they're equivalents. Okay, 2 more mixed number examples, and we will answer questions. So I'm going to start with my whole number, which is 8, then the decimal point because the whole number needs to be on the left side of the decimal. Then I can move on to the fraction. The 2 needs to be in the tenths place value spot, which is the first one. It's not writing. There we go, 2 tenths. So this is 8 and 2 tenths. And last, I have 1 and 7 tenths. I just read the fraction. So we're going to start with the whole number. 1. I need that decimal. It's very important. And then I need to put a 7 in the tenths place value spot, which is right there. So this is 1 and 7 tenths. Again, I could put a 0 on the end here. I just prefer to leave it off because I think it's easier to see and I think it makes more sense without it on there. So you could put it on, you can leave it off. You get to choose.